Hello, welcome to the Gamers. Today we're
Good morning / evening, depending on where you are in the world.
It's 5 o'clock here.
It is. And today this is our reaction video, our breakdown of the Final Fantasy 15 trailer.
It was epic.
It truly was.
It was like we were saying in our discussion video for Tokyo Game Show that we wanted something, anything, Final Fantasy 15.
We basically are fanboys feeding off the teats of Square Enix. And they dribbled out a bit of milk for us and we lapped it up because, let's be honest, I mean, they haven't given us much. It was the Versus 13 series first, that got scrapped, then it was on this. They gave us the trailer, I think we said this a while ago, it was about a year and a half ago, we're not exactly sure.
And that was about a 3-minute trailer, and then this one that showed was about 2.5-minute trailer, but it's still short.
But they showed more of how the game will play rather than the story.
Okay, so things that...
Let's break this mother down.
Okay. It seems that the way you traverse the world in this one is with slightly more realistic means, which is with a car. Yeah,
like a stretch limo cabriolet type.
A very nice car that would work with the fact that he is the prince.
He is the prince.
You assume he's got money.
Yeah.
And then he had, we assume, friends with him. There was four of them together.
Yeah, 4 males.
Four males.
You do see a female.
Yeah.
In the trailer, but
she looked real.
Yeah, she looked real, and she looked damn fine.
She sure did.
Shots been fired. But yeah, so there's 4 in the car. Obviously, I'm guessing that's the party he chose.
Yeah,
for that area.
I'm guessing one of them, because one of them looks a bit older. I'm guessing one of them is a bodyguard, and the other 2 are like kind of close friends.
Friends, yeah. So we said that's probably how you travel the world, and it's on roads. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but for Final Fantasy to have an actual tarmac road, shows you that realism / the fantasy, which could be the first time it's properly happened in a Final Fantasy, I guess. Because I mean, even in 13,
and so flawlessly as well.
Yeah, it looks
seamlessly.
Yeah, it looks incredible. I mean, I can't remember what the first thing in the trailer was.
The first thing in the trailer is that they're going down this path with the car, and then in the background, obviously you've probably all seen it if you're watching this video, but you know, if you haven't, go and watch it at Final Fantasy 15 trailer. But I assume that is their incarnation of the adamant tortoise.
Yeah, it looks massive.
It's just a huge creature.
I mean, Noctis. I think it's Noctis. Even remarks on how big it is.
Like, look at his face.
Yeah,
that's his face. It looks like a giant stone dinosaur.
Yeah, basically.
Not golem-ish.
No, and it's rising out of the ground, which again is that realism versus the fantasy, because it looks like a normal landscape.
Yeah,
and then you get this creature just appears out of nowhere.
The main thing we got from the trailer that we both thought is it's Final Fantasy mixed with Xenoblade, and if you play Xenoblade has these huge open worlds,
just expanses that just go on forever.
Yeah. And then in the background you can see huge creatures.
Which actually, I know this is a slight tangent, but if you've seen the Xenoblade 2 trailer, you'll kind of know the comparison where I'm making there.
Okay, so fights.
I mean, I think you get to see 2, maybe a bit segments more, 2 segments of them actually fighting. And what we can say is we don't see the controls for the fights.
No, you just
see health bars. Everyone's health bars are in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, with like a small bar underneath it. If that makes sense. Like you got the number of the health, and then like a really slim bar. It seems.
Now I can imagine Square Enix have purposefully left out what would be in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah.
Either your ATB gauge or your turn-based gauge, or even maybe action button.
They obviously don't want to give that away yet.
Yeah, I mean, but the way it looked to me is it's going to be more. This is just my view. Maybe more like Tales of.
Yeah,
which is basically you assign attacks to buttons, and then you press those buttons to get
those attacks. Not so turn-based, because from what we saw, when your character, it focuses really on just one character, and there's things going around him, the AI will obviously be doing moves, but you don't...
It doesn't seem like you can control them, because obviously the trailer doesn't show you enough.
And there's obviously some kind of counter-hit, parry, sidestep that Noctis had. Because he went round the enemy and then he was able to do like a special slash.
And the way it was animated was flawless.
Yeah, we were saying
it looked like real human beings. I mean the way he sidestepped and the way kind of his whole body was animated was just incredible.
And then so that's after they've been out in like the open world, and then they go into like this
cave, isn't it?
This cave, and
because they say they need to rest.
Yeah, and then you get the usual Final Fantasy goblins.
Yeah.
And they look really, really cool, and they come like running around, and then they like all fight those off.
I mean, I think what's incredible about that part as well, maybe this is to do with the realism of the weather, it could be weather and the scenarios, is it was pitch black.
Yeah.
And you had to use I'm guessing, I'm not sure if one of the characters uses it automatically or whether you have to assign it to them, but had a lantern or a torch. So maybe that's another, like Dragon's Dogma, where you had a lantern for dark areas.
Yes.
Perhaps you actually need to find an item,
maybe,
to use in dark areas just to be able to explore them.
And I'm trying to think, there was a part with an astral shard.
Yes.
Now, if you play Final Fantasy 13, think of the big pillar of Cocoon.
Yeah,
with all the crystals.
Yeah, the crystal pillar, yeah.
It looked similar-ish to that, not on the same scale.
Now, obviously, astral means from the heavens.
Yeah.
And we know in this universe, I can't remember the goddess they're worshipping, but they're all worshipping a goddess. That's the one who gives them the power in this world, and one who's given them this the crystal now on the last one. So I'm guessing you're meant to imagine these astral shards are maybe remnants of her power, perhaps, and maybe parts where you can go and worship, or you get some goodies.
Yeah, and then I think after those two bits,
I think you see a girl.
You see the girl, and as we said, she looks real. She's not
looks
fighting or anything. She's not with them. It's kind of like a flashback to where she is or what's happened to her.
I think someone mentions to Noctis, "What about so and so?"
Yeah,
and then they have a little flashback.
And then, like, one of the final scenes that to me was really, really cool. Like they know
joke.
Yeah, they know what people are thinking, and there's like a sunset, and you're looking at a cliff, and
Noctis is stood by the car.
And he stood by the car, and he just goes, "Well, it's been a long time coming, but the wait is finally over." Yeah. And obviously that is a line from the game, but it's also, we all know it means about that we've been waiting so long for Final Fantasy 15, and I mean, we've obviously longer through the wait, but there's still, like, don't be thinking this is going to be out in the 6 months.
We do realise that there's more to come, and maybe the one thing that we've got to mention was, before the trailer started, I believe it came up with a warning symbol and said...
this is like a work in progress,
yes,
and some things have been intentionally left out.
And was it, please expect more or something?
Yes.
Or...
Yeah, it was something along those lines.
Basically, expect more than what they've shown, but what they've shown, I mean, it's...
And then we're missing out one of the biggest key things was right at the end of the trailer, and there's Final Fantasy Type 0
which
HD,
is,
which I think is... I'm not sure what console it was on, or what, but I think it's been remade for the PS4, I think. And anyway, if you buy that game, that is coming out March 15th, I believe, next year, you get a demo code for Final Fantasy 15.
Which means they're expecting to at least have something ready by that point.
But that would also suggest to me that the earliest the game is going to be out is fall autumn.
So as period 3 or whatever they call it.
Yeah, Q3 next year.
Quarter 3.
At the earliest.
At the earliest. I mean, because the best way to describe it, I think personally, is actually a Xenoblade / Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
That's the way the game's going to be. So very, very, very large open areas. I mean, Lightning Returns had large areas.
Yes. The thing is, by then with Lightning Returns, even though we enjoyed the game, I think a lot of people it did innovate, but they used the same engine for 3 consecutive games. Yeah. So you had 13, you got 13.2, and Lightning Returns. So a lot of people
there were differences, but the way in which the worlds looked were so similar that it was just, there was nothing really that new.
This is the time where Square Enix need to get back the fans.
Which, as I say, if the game's going to play the way in which they showed it, I've got no complaints.
No.
Really, I mean, I actually really haven't got any complaints. I mean, it's the RPG game I've been waiting for, one that seamlessly mixes reality and fantasy. And if it gets it right, then...
Oh yeah.
Dear God, rip me off my money.
And you'd think after waiting this long that they're going to get it right.
Come on. So we are extremely happy.
Yeah.
I say extremely, but we need to see a bit more.
I mean, obviously. I know they didn't show a lot of Tokyo Game Show, but I think the fact that they at least showed it shows that it's still on track.
Yeah.
Because if I'm honest, I don't want to say this before, so I don't want to put them down, but if they hadn't shown anything for Tokyo Game Show, I'd have kind of been like, it's going to go on the back burner again.
Yeah.
Like, no, we can't do that yet.
But the thing is, it can't, because it's Square Enix's flagship title. So they have to get it right. Simple as that.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, you can tell by our reactions that we're happy with what we saw.
Obviously, we're always going to want more, but the main thing is they showed something, and what they showed was good.
Yeah, simple as that, really. So you would put your comments below and tell us what you think. And guys, can't wait for some more.
Yeah, stay tuned.